Hello, this is Miss Ferguson, and I'm going to attempt to show you how to put together your brain hat. And what I've done so far is I just cut these out of the frame that they were in, just the outside. I've done nothing else. The reason I did that ahead of time is because I'm left-handed, and so most scissors are made for right-handers, and so I'm a little challenged with cutting. But what you will need to put together your brain hat is you will need to have your brain hat parts labeled and colored already, because once you put it together, it's very difficult to do it. You will need scissors and you will need tape. Now, when I've done this at school, I've had stapler, and I don't have a stapler at home. So we'll see what we can do just with tape. Tape is magical. And it says that this is Scotch magic tape. So hopefully it really is magical. So I had cut this off of here. And if you read what it says here, it says cut just this dashed line. And so I need to cut the dashed lines. And then the other part says pull dashed line over to solid line and tape. I should be able to do this, right? So I see a lot of little dashed lines. First one I see is in the frontal lobe. Cut dashed lines. Okay, so I'm going to make a slice there. I'm going to make a slice in all there. There's another one up here. Just the dashed lines. I can do this. There's another one. And I can cut if I really try hard, it looks like. And another one. And, ooh, is that a dashed line? It's very hard to see. Yes, I think it is. I colored over it too hard. And then another one. It looked like on the side of this, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, oh, 4, and I missed 7 different parts that I did cut. And then I'm going to do one right in the temporal lobe section. So let's see if I can make this work. So I think the idea is I want to make this fit on my head. Actually, I know that's the idea. I don't think it went up enough. And so I'm going to take this first one that I did in the temporal lobe, and I'm going to bend it so it covers it. So it starts to get to be the shape of a hat. And I need to tape this. And so I'm going to tape it. Sorry, that was my child, and he realized I'm recording. I'm going to tape it right on the inside here, and it should be make a little angle. See? So I folded it a little together, and I'm going to start to tape the others. And I'm taping it on the bottom side right now. If I have to tape it on the top, I will, but I prefer not to have the tape show. So I'm going to tape this. So all those little slices I made, I'm going to bend a little bit, so that my cap is starting to look like it's going to actually be the shape of like a half a hat or half a cap. And I take some more, and I take some more, and I'm getting there. We'll see how this looks. I hope my head's not too big for it. We'll see, won't we? There's another one, and see, I'm just taping it over it. It might stay better if I end up taping it on the top too, but I'm still resisting. We'll see. Taping it again. Right up there, and then 2 more on this side. 1. And 1 more. I can do this. little wrinkly, but I got it, I think. And here's my last one. So when I do this, see how it's all bent a little bit. If this is the frontal lobe, it'll end up going like this on me. I don't like that this is sticking up a little bit, so I'm going to tape it a little bit together on the top, even though I said I wasn't going to, because I want to stay together. I think that looks pretty good so far, don't you? Now let's take the other half of my brain cap. I'm going to make some more slices. Only on the dotted lines, boys and girls. 1 slice through the frontal lobe. 2 slice through the frontal lobe. 3 slice through the frontal lobe. 1 through the motor cortex, which is part of the frontal lobe. Another one through part of the sensory cortex, which is part of the parietal lobe. Or do you say parietal? That's always a question I've had. Is it parietal or parietal? Look it up and let me know. Extra credit. We'll see. And occipital lobe. Okay, so I've got those slices and I've got to make one right up through the temporal lobe. I think I'm going to do the temporal lobe one again first, because it kind of starts the shape for me. And I'm going to fold it over. Nice. Right like that. See how I just folded it over? Oh, it definitely needs more taping. That's okay. It's all good. Now I'm going to do all the little corners as we go around. And I think what I'm going to do is take a few pieces of tape off. I think that might be the smarter thing to do. So I just got 3 off. Let's see. Let's try doing it with the occipital lobe first. Bend it over and tape. Parietal lobe or parietal lobe. I can just cut it a bit more. Bend it and tape. Sensory cortex. Bend it and tape. And now I'm going to take a few more things. I hope you guys are enjoying the screencastify that I'm making for you. Now I'm taking the motor cortex and I'm taping it. I think I have just a few more spots to tape, and then we can put the whole thing together. Part of the frontal lobe where I sliced it. I'm going to bend it over and tape it. Part of the frontal lobe. Right here, and then one last piece of the frontal lobe right over here. I'm going to tape it right here. And now I have the other half of my brain cap. Now I see a few loose places on the outside. You can see them sticking out maybe like right here. You might consider taping them just a little bit if you want your cap to look nice around. I might tape it right there a little bit. And so any places that you feel like taping one-sided doesn't work, you need to get both. You do what you need to do to make your cap beautiful for you. Almost done with this. Yeah, I definitely need to tape there. And maybe right here at the very top. But do you see how, just by taping it, I'm getting it in this nice shape. Here we go. Now I have my left hemisphere and my right hemisphere. And now I want to put them together. Oops, it's very, so I can put it on my head. So let's see how this goes. So I want to make it match up and have my occipital lobes both connect. And I want to have my temporal lobe connect right in the middle too. If I had a stapler, what I would do is I would staple the frontal lobes together, and the occipital lobes together. That's what I would do. But I do not have a stapler. So guess what we do in times of trouble? We improvise. Or we can let it be. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom. Let it be. Let it be. So we can let it be too, but I really do want this brain hat made, so I don't think I will let it be. So I taped my occipital lobes together. Unfortunately, a little bit of it's covered. And I don't want to cover it at all. It looks like my poor right hemisphere is the one that's being denied being seen the whole way. That's better. I'm going to make it wider. I'm going to tape it on the front too. A little bit. Just so both of my occipital lobes can show as I bend it. So this is like a little tricky because you see that I just put it together and then took it apart and put it together again. You kind of have to like mess with it a little bit. Realize when you're making something that's three-dimensional, it started out two-dimensional, so it's going to be a little challenging. But look, I think I'm getting happy with the end, the back, the occipital lobes. I do need to tape them a little bit because when I went to tape the hemispheres together, some of my little places got loose. Oh, I think I'm getting it. I just need to get the front, and I think I'm going to do the top last. I think that might stick out. I'm going to hold my finger where I think the tape should go. By the way, if this doesn't fit my head, I'm kind of screwed. So let's try this. Ta-da! I think I did it. So this is my front lobe, left and right hemisphere. And now I need to get the inside to make sure that my top temporal lobe is there. I think I did it, you guys. By the way, if you hadn't noticed, this is very much a rainbow brain hat, because I love rainbows. And did I do that right? Frontal lobe. Yeah, so I'm putting it on. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is what your brain hat can look like. Perhaps. Doesn't quite fit. My head's a little big, but it can mostly fit. Ta-da! And I'm going to find my little boy, and I bet it'll fit him better. His head's not quite as big as mine yet. So, hopefully, you understand this, and hopefully this will help you really understand where the different parts of the brain are located. And I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I hope I've entertained you fully. Goodbye.